Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt. Over there is Adam Glyn. We are back for another Wednesday episode. How is everyone? Adam, how are you?
I'm good. I'm hot, but I like being hot. I don't mind sweating. I'm a little sunburned. I'm not gonna lie, my shoulders. So I'm trying to go to the beach like this week, but I'm a little. I took a nap on the beach the other day. I was under umbrella. However, the sun moved, and then my shoulder was in the sun, and I didn't realize how much it was in the sun. A little sunburnt, but a little aloe and a little bit of Happy Gilmore 2 will fix it. Did you watch Happy Gilmore 2?
I have not as of yet, but I really, really want to.
Okay.
I was thinking, however, I kind of want to go back and watch Happy Gilmore again because I feel like it's been so long since I've watched it in its entirety. I feel like I've seen, like you kind of come in halfway when it's on television or whatever. But I want to go back, watch it again so that I can fully appreciate all the cameos, all the little references that I may miss if I don't rewatch the first one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. I'm officially cut out of the movie. I wouldn't say cut out like on purpose by any means, but I was an extra in Happy Gilmore, and I slowed down the parts that I was at. And the two takeaways I have are A, it's crazy how much work goes into a part that's a split second, and B, if I just moved one person over, I would have been clearly in the movie. And
Well,
it
didn't
was like
you wear like a bright shirt too?
I
Like so
did.
it could be seen.
I did, and the person next to me got into the movie, not me. Like I was one person over from being in a scene. It wasn't a talking scene. It was just me in the background and it being cool. But I was one person over from being in the scene, so that was sort of a bummer.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, loser.
I get it. I can't even put that on my resume. Like how does like people won't believe me that I did it. So
I have it on my resume on the cutting room floor of Veronica Mars.
You got cut out?
Yeah, I told you. Remember we were doing that? It was like a TMZ clip that
was
came
right.
in to film, and there was a whole scene in the Veronica Mars movie where they cut to like how TMZ is investigating, and they show clips on the TV. And I had a whole scene. I had a script. I had lines. The whole thing that never saw the light of day, and
Wow.
it ended up hitting the floor. And then same with the Entourage movie, same deal.
So
headlines, the whole thing didn't make the movie.
Let me ask you this: did you have to join the union, Screen Actors Guild, for those lines?
No, I joined for something else, but it wasn't for that.
Oh, so you are SAG? You're a union?
Yeah, I got my SAG card.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So, do you get the screeners every year of movies for like Oscars?
I used to. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of let my membership lapse because I just wasn't working in Hollywood like I used to.
Yeah.
So I stopped getting the the screeners, but I was getting them for a while. It was kind of fun to be a part of the process and get all the SAG screeners and they're like encrypted and all this kind of stuff. That was cool. But
I guess if you're not really using it, and especially you get your insurance for other ways, like you don't really need them as much.
But it's not even that. It's pretty cool to be to have your SAG card. Like I feel like that is a rite of passage in Hollywood to have your SAG card, and I have it.
Huge.
But it started to get very expensive when you're not making any money in Hollywood to then pay for a SAG membership. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it got to be the point where it's like, if I get a gig, I will re-up, but I wasn't getting any Hollywood, at least union gigs.
Yeah,
like I was doing other things, but they weren't union gigs, so it was like, why am I paying union fees? And I can't afford this anymore.
So what are the benefits? And this is more for people, if you could explain to the audience. You hear a lot about the Screen Actors Guild. They even have their own award show. But what are the benefits of being in the Screen Actors Guild?
Well, a lot of it is your pay, because if you're union, you're getting like certain tiers of pay. Like you said, insurance. A lot of these people in Hollywood, they don't have a normal job, so they're able to go and get insurance through the union. So there are a lot of benefits, but then there's a lot of productions that are non-union, and that's where the conflict starts to come in, where you're like, I'm a union member, and now I can't really go do this gig because they're non-union, or I may get in trouble. So there's benefits and negatives around the whole thing, but yeah, it was very cool to receive that card in the mail. I will tell you that much.
Yeah, so when you did Veronica Mars, you did Entourage, you had a few lines. How many takes did it take you to do those scenes? Like, did you nail it on one time, or
No,
how
I
was it
didn't
for
nail
you?
it one time. But I also, it's like a movie. They don't ever just take one take. Like, even if you nail your line, they're going to do 4 or 5 takes just because they want to make sure, someone was walking in the background or the lighting was right, or, so we did, I would say there was probably like 8 or so takes and it
Really?
was pretty, yeah, it was pretty simple, stuff, but it was back and forth. And I think it was Harvey and Charles were like filming TMZ live, and then it would cut to me talking about it. And
So, but I'm surprised. Did you get paid for it, by the way?
no, because it didn't air, so there was no
Really? But you
extra.
shot the scene. I'm an extra and the scene wasn't in the movie, I was cut out of the movie, I still got paid. You didn't get paid for doing that part?
I think it was more promotional. There was a lot of things though that we did that was more of a promotional for TMZ. Like we showed up on American Idol quite a few times,
Really? I didn't know
doing.
that.
Yeah, we did these promo. It wasn't even a promo spot. It was in the show, but it was supposed to be media training for the contestants of American Idol. So they literally came to our office and we put them through media training and talked about stuff. So I got to meet Philip Phillips. I got to meet what was his name? Stefano. Do you remember him? That was the
Yeah,
guy that I
no.
had to interact with. So we met all these contestants that came in, and Nigel Lithgow was there, and Seacrest came in. It was pretty cool.
That's cool. That's a cool
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I'd be nervous, dude. I mean, listen, I've been on a set when there's a lot of people and everyone's counting. I take that back. I hosted a game show. So hosting a game show, we had this similar pressure where it's like time and trying to bang as many things out and like in real time. So, you know, the show could get made. And I remember when we did my game show, we did the pilot. I remember they planned the whole day to film, and we actually wound
Hmm.
up being done by like 1 in the afternoon because luckily like it went so smooth and quick and I got it down that I felt so good. Like we were ahead of schedule. Like boom, we got it. Like we don't have to, even though they booked it all day. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was good.
There was one other one that was kind of fun. So we had to do when the Super Bowl was going to be on Fox one year. They came in because we were doing this like post Super Bowl episode or pre Super Bowl episode for Fox, and they kept promoting it. And you know the big like Fox digital like football player kind of thing? It looks like a robot. Like
Yeah,
his
yeah,
name Brodus or something. I don't know.
sure.
So they came in and they had like this big stand, and it was just like to say, okay, this is how tall this Brodus guy is. It Brodus? What the hell is the guy's name? Like the
Uh,
robot's name?
no, I don't know what it is, but I know the
Yeah.
robot. I didn't know it
Anyway,
even had a name.
they came in with all this equipment to basically this is where this digital robot is going to be edited in behind you guys. So that was kind of cool to be a part of something like that as well.
Very cool. Well,
And I think I got a photo. Maybe I can find that photo at some point, but I think I have one.
that's cool. Yeah.
So
Hopefully I
that
get
was
to the
some
point where I'm getting
cool
all
fun
now
stuff.
that they're shooting all these shows in New Jersey. I'm getting hit up by all these places. Uh, you know, of like, hey, you want to do this film or be in this project, that project? But I'm like, I don't know. It's a long
You're
day on
like, how
set
much
for an
is it paying
extra.
for me?
It's not
Yeah,
worth it.
for me
It's a
to
long day for
go all the way
180
down there.
bucks. Yeah, it's legit a long day for 180 bucks. That's how much I got for Happy Gilmore 2. I think I got 180 to 220, but I had to be there at like 5:45 in the morning. I had to drive away from my car. Um, yeah, I had to I had to take a bus to where I had to get done, and then it was so much work and it was cold. And I actually wound up leaving early. It was like 5 o'clock. I was like, guys, I'm going. Like I thought this was only supposed to be like an 8 or 10 hour day. It was going to like 12. I was like, yeah, peace. And
Oh,
they tried keeping me. And I was like, yeah, I'm going. And then they're just like, okay, what do we need to do? Like, you're still paying me. Like, you're let's not go down that route. So
yeah.
I can't do it. Um,
All right, so I have secured a huge guest for today. You don't even know. This is more of a surprise for you. I told you, look, just trust me. I'm going to do an episode, and I need you to just go along with it. And
you did.
so So I booked a guest. Do you have any guesses on who this guest might
I
be?
mean, listen, I'm not stupid. I know we're not getting Kendall Jenner. I know we're not going to get I don't know, Luis Guzman. So it's John Leguizamo. No, we're not getting Craig David. We're not getting Robbie Williams. So I don't think anybody else is really that important to me. No, my guess would be we don't have like Harvey, do we? No.
No, we have Alex Earl.
We have Alex Earl.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I don't have anyone. I actually thought about it, and I want to interview you. And
okay, I'm like, okay. Like,
so here's the thing. I was thinking about this the other day, and how we have never I've never interviewed you for the audience. I know a lot about you, but I feel like there's also a lot of questions that people would like to ask and have asked me about you over the years. And I wanted to just turn the tables on you for a hot minute and ask you a bunch of questions about your career and what it's like to be in the streets. And if you're down, I wrote up a whole shit ton of questions.
I'm going to be pleading the fifth, every single thing.
You can't. You're not allowed.
Sure. I can answer some questions. Hopefully I won't bore you, but yeah, I can answer some questions. It's a good job interview. It's a good job interview training because I'll probably be interviewing for jobs in the next 3 months or so, the way my career's going. Okay.
All right, let me read a review real fast before we jump into this, because there's been people leaving us love on Apple Podcasts, leaving us reviews as we thank you, and we really appreciate. You guys know that reviews mean the world to us. So this one comes from Vintage LPs. It says, loved your July 2nd show, Dax. Hearing about your interactions, I'm guessing they were talking to you, right? Because you were the one that did the episode. Anyway, hearing about your interactions with various celebrities was very interesting. These stories and others will make a good book. The coolest celebrities out there are the ones that always stop and speak to the cameraman and news reporters. I hope you send Adam on another vacation soon. Oh, I think they confused our names.
I think they did. I'm like, oh God, they want me to say. They want me. They're like, we like the stories. We just don't like it come from Adam. Go on vacation. That's great.
It is. I think that was probably one of the highest commented in episodes that we've had in a long time. Is you just sitting there, just shit talking for an hour.
You know what's so funny? Thank you for the review. I appreciate the review, even though you got the names twisted. I appreciate the review. So again, something I've been looking to do lately is to learn the book industry as far as self-publishing, publishing, and how that all works, because I am working on something. I don't, it's not coming out anytime soon, but it's something that I have in my to-do list and something I want to do, because I have these really interesting, unique stories. And I told a literary agent, I was like, hey, I want to do this book. Here's what I would like to do it on. I tell these stories. People enjoy these stories. When I tell them my podcast, we do have a pretty large, loyal audience. They're like, yeah, no, we're not into that. We want it this way. And they want basically me to do like pretty much a documentary on Justin Bieber and his relationship with paparazzi through his life. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do a research paper on like the history of Justin Bieber and paparazzi and like how it influences, celebrity pop culture today. I was like, to be honest with you, I don't think you realize, like, I think people want to hear these stories, and, I monetize these stories to a certain extent in a certain way. And I said, our audience likes it, but I haven't heard back since I wrote the email saying, hey, I'll do whatever you want. But yeah.
I think you don't go down that route. You go down your own book route. You've got too many good stories. You're one of the best storytellers I know. So going back to the beginning, for people that don't know, how did you get into this world of crazy paparazzi? And because you weren't always someone who had a camera in your hand.
No, I know people always ask me about my camera. Like, what kind of camera do you shoot with this, that? I'm like, I know nothing about cameras. I have like a cheap, older camera that I use that's pretty much outdated, but it does the job. And what I realized, you don't really need, you don't need some crazy camera. In fact, now I've been shooting more on I'll shoot now on my cell phone and my camera. Just because, again, the camera I use is outdated, but I graduated school in 2006 with a degree in like communications, which is kind of broad. Again, who cares about communications? Couldn't get a job, couldn't get an interview, like legit couldn't get an interview. Went back to school 2 years later, got my teaching certification, and I still couldn't get a job, couldn't get an interview. Now, if you remember during that time, it was during a recession and a really tough time. And I mean, I got one job interview, and it was selling water, like big jugs of water to office spaces door to door. And I was like, dude, like, what am I gonna do? And honestly, that's where I started getting like anxiety, because I was like, I'm in debt. Like, I don't know what to do. Fortunately, I was working as a golf caddy at the time, so I had some good money coming in. And but I also did stand-up comedy. I did stand-up comedy all through college, and I would hand out like flyers in Times Square for stage time. I was doing stand-up pretty often. I mean, probably about 4 to 6 shows a week. I was making a few dollars on it, but to be honest with you, the dollars I was making was like doing shows for like ophthalmologist conventions, like shows that I knew I was gonna bomb. I'm telling you, Dex, I did this show on a Friday night for an ophthalmologist convention. I walked in there wearing jeans and a shirt. Everyone's wearing suits. I knew how bad this was going to be. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be humiliating, but I need $100. And they wanted me to do 5 minutes for $100. And it was terrible. I bombed in front of like 300 eye doctors. And I was like, I don't even like this. This is not fun. Like, I felt like the guy in the dunk tank where you knew he was going to go in the water. Just like, it was terrible.
You're like, just throw the ball. Just send me in the water.
Exactly. But
make this over.
Yeah, but one of my good friends who we used to work, he was trying to become a professional wrestler. And I was trying to become like a professional comedian, work in the entertainment business, like get in. We would basically work out all day because we had no jobs during the day. And then at night, he'd work at Dairy Queen. I'd like sit in the back of Dairy Queen and just hang out with him. But he met a guy who worked for TMZ. Now, at the time, this is 2009. I didn't even know what TMZ was. It was still trying to get going. And he's like, dude, I just met this guy from TMZ. You should meet him. He's a paparazzi. I was like, dude, there's no such thing as paparazzis in New York. This guy's lying to you. I didn't believe anything he said. And remember, I was dead broke at the time. And a buddy of mine said, hey, there's a porn convention in New Jersey, and said, you should, like, why don't we go to this porn convention? And I looked up tickets to go to this porn convention, and the tickets were like $75. And again, I had no money for me at the time. So I said, listen, dude, I can't afford to go. I can't afford $75. But I looked on the website and I saw there was a media contact for saying, hey, for media, contact here. And I said to myself, how many people, the press, are going to a porn convention? So I made up a fake radio station, WBLJ 90.3. And I emailed them. I said, hey, I want to cover the event to talk about new technology in the industry. Right away, they sent me a media pass and said, okay, dude, you're in 3:00. You're interviewing Ron Jeremy, 4:00, Tabitha Stevens. Like, they gave me like the list of people and like things to do. I'm like, dude, this is insane. Like, they allowed me in. I went to the porn convention with a buddy. We had like a shitty camera. And we made a video of me kind of sneaking in the porn convention and like doing these fake interviews with all these like porn stars and me just messing with them. And the video started, this is early stages of YouTube, but the video got like a decent amount of traffic, and the video was super funny. My buddy sent it to the guy at TMZ, this guy Jared at the time, and he loved it. I met Jared and we started talking. We hit it off. Asked me if I knew celebrities, and I did, because I said I grew up with a Star magazine near the toilet and I knew pop culture. And asked me if I knew my way around New York City, which I did from doing stand-up, and I also knew where celebrities went. He got me a job interview, and then they didn't call me back for like 6 months. And then they called me back 6 months later on a Friday night, and they said, hey, you still interested in that job? I said, yeah, sure. They're like, all right, well, you start tomorrow. Legit, like, you start tomorrow. I was like, what? And the job interview, I remember being like 45 seconds. And basically just like, you got recommended. Are you sane? You got a car, this? And they gave me a job interview, and they hired me for 2 weeks. They gave me a 2-week contract. And in 2 weeks, I didn't get arrested. I was pretty calm. Like, I wasn't like a liability. I got 2 interviews in 2 weeks, which was, I guess, good enough for them, but the interviews were good enough, and I found them myself. It was with rapper Chamillionaire and Whitney Port from MTV's The Hills. And after that, they offered me a 3-year contract, and kind of grew after that. 3-year, then 3-year, and kind of went that route. But I did really well pretty quickly, I'd say.
So what did you like the most about working at TMZ?
Um, I loved meeting celebrities, dude. Like, I'm not from this world. I'm not from like Hollywood. I come from everyone I grew up with. I would say majority of people didn't even go to college, and if they did go to college, they all went to the same school. And I think where I grew up, a lot of people became, worked in a blue collar type job or became some sort of teacher in a hair salon. And nothing against that, but it was sort of like that was just how I grew up in a very middle class area. For this, I was just such a fan of celebrities that I was able to meet these celebrities and kind of like use my comedic ability to make these fun interviews. And that's what I start to see where, rather than asking some of these people like the tough questions. It was more of asking them fun questions or making these fun sort of sketches with them on the street, which they didn't realize they're part of a sketch, but I was messing with them. Like, for example, Jessica Alba. I knew she would never talk to me. I knew Jessica Alba would never even look at me. So when I would see Jessica Alba, I would say, "Hey, Jessica," and I'd walk with her, and she would not look at me. She would act like I didn't even exist. I go, "Hey, Jessica, I'm actually filming for a silent movie right now. I would like to audition you right now for the role." And she'd keep walking from ignoring you, and I was, "All right, and go." Action. And then she would keep walking, ignore me. Like, "All right, keep walking, ignore me, keep walking, silent, perfect, you got the role." And she would like, like, so it was like more like messing with these people on the street that make viral moments. And also like getting to kind of mess with these celebrities in a good way, where the celebrities at first were sort of like, "What's this guy doing?"
That was probably the perfect recipe for TMZ because it wasn't just a video living by itself. Then it could go into the room and we all laugh about the moment versus, "Hey, Jessica Alba didn't talk to me. She ignored me." It got turned into a moment that is now funny.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to tee up the room was awesome. That was like a high. I mean, you wanted to see your clip on the show. I mean, I was the number one camera guy there. It wasn't out of competition with the other camera guys. I always said to the other camera guys, like, "Guys, I'm not trying to be number one. It's just that I want to be on the show just like everyone else. And there's only so many slots." So it wasn't like trying to outdo them, but it was like, yeah, I want to see my clip up there. But what fortunately for me, and it was what it was, where some of these celebrities didn't know what I was doing until they actually saw the clip and saw it online and saw the show. Like, "Oh, that was actually funny." And then they started to kind of grow within, like, "Oh, that's the guy. And that's how I kind of grew. But there was excitement seeing your interview on show. Like, "Oh man, there's me talking to Michael Bublé," or there's me talking to, I don't know, everyone from like the most random people. There was that was
Listen,
cool.
I know.
I remember there was one
know.
episode, every single video was my video. The whole episode was all my interviews.
Really?
Yeah, I remember there was a few times. Every single clip on the show that they brought in from the camera guys was all my videos. That's insane.
By the way, were you the one? Did you film John Mayer that day that he did the hosting of TMZ?
I did not.
In New York?
I did not. I was there for some of the John Mayer stuff, but I was towards the end. That was Jared, actually. But I was at the end of John Mayer being John Mayer. John Mayer, and I was around it, where he used to be like so fun and funny with like the camera guys on the streets. Like so great. But then people started
really was.
Oh, he was out of this world how funny he was. But then for some reason, people turned on him saying he's not funny. I'm like, guys, this guy is like funnier than some of the biggest stand-up comics out there. Like intelligent, funny, witty. He was everything. And then he stopped playing ball and stopped playing game. But I did not do that
because
stuff.
the internet turned on him, unfortunately, after the Jen Aniston thing. So, like, listen, I know that there was lots of perks working for TMZ, getting on TV, getting recognized, all of that kind of stuff. What do you feel like was your least liked thing about working at TMZ?
You want to get into that?
I think
to a certain extent.
I think it's more overall. What did you not like about working at TMZ?
I think there is this.
Doesn't need to be a specific moment, but like, what did you least like about it?
I didn't
like. For me personally, I can tell you, I didn't like being in public around a celeb and feeling judged. Like them feeling like every moment I am out to get them, and that wasn't me. So like when I'd be at a Hollywood party, I felt this extra level of like insecurity because they're looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? What he's going to want to get me out, or he's going to want to videotape me and put me on the website and get me doing something wrong. And I'm like, that's not, I'm not looking for that. I just want to be here and have a good time. That was probably the one thing that I did not like about working at TNT.
I would say there's a few things. I mean, obviously, I understand what you say, and there's still, to this day, I have a few celebrity friends that don't follow me on social media because of that. They don't want to say like, oh, like because of what I do, they don't want to feel like someone say, oh, he's the guy tipping people off, or B, bring if I bring him around someplace, people are gonna be like, hey, what are you doing with this guy? You know, like
Yeah.
there's some sort of like, you know, scaredness of me being around there, which I'm not really that guy, especially if they bring me in, I'm like, you know, I'm actually my best behavior just to prove people like I'm very trustworthy. I mean, bottom line, it was a toxic work environment. I mean, that was the toughest thing. I mean, if you really want to get into that part, yeah, it was tough.
What was your most memorable moment with Harvey Levin?
Memorable moment?
Mm-hmm.
I think when he gave me the game, it was actually on the phone. When he called me on a Saturday and said the game show got picked up, and that to me was really huge. And I remember where I was when we did this show called South of Wilshire, and I remember where I was when I got the game show on a Saturday morning. And when he calls you on a weekend, you know, that's always like you get nervous
Your
when
heart
you get that call on
panics
weekends.
a little bit, right?
I mean, and that's
Your heart
part of
starts going.
that was the tough part of the job. Like during there, like when you get calls from LA, something bad's going on. You know, it's hard. You know, that's just how it is. However, I would say anytime but when I got the call that the show got picked up, it was a very nice call because he knew how hard I worked on it, sort of molded the show to what it was. And when we shot the pilot, like I was telling you, like we did it in a short amount of time. Like we got it done pretty quick, that I think he was like, oh, wow, like it actually worked out. Like how the smoothest of where it was going. So I think that was probably the most memorable experience, I'd say.
Now you've talked a lot through the years of your friendship with Shaq and how, you know, you guys seem to have a pretty good friendship where he'll take you to certain shows or he'll have you hop in his car. How did you guys first meet? Like, I don't think I even know how you became friends with Shaq.
You know what's weird? I probably talk about him more than he talks about me, and that's a weird part of a friendship. Like, Shaq. But, I mean, he's just been such a big part of my life, honestly. Like, that's, you know, like he's been just, I mean, he was the guy that changed my career. He's also the guy who's just, you know, talk about trust. This guy's trusted me with a lot of stuff, but he's also been, like, he's been my guy. He's been my bro. Like, he's just the man. But how to get in with him was sort of like the strategy when I did the job. Like, my thing when I did the job, it was for every single, you know, when I first started doing the job, and I'll lead into the Shaq part. When I first started doing the job, I didn't know if I felt like a good guy. I mean, imagine trying to talk to people and security like pushing you back. Imagine trying to talk to people slam the door in your face. Like, it's hard to go to sleep at night sometimes when you don't feel like a good person. But then I realized, like, if I could do it in a way where people have fun with it, and then like they'll start to like be entertained by me. And then I thought of like, I wanted them to know me. I wanted to become friends with celebrities. Who doesn't? You know, I want to be that guy in their inner circle. So every single time Kim Kardashian came to New York, I made a point to cross paths with her. Every single time that Michael Bublé, Wyclef, to so many different, I met so many celebrities. Every single time those celebrities came to New York, I wanted to cross paths with them because they might not know my name, but I wanted them to see my face. Like, oh no, he's cool. Like, that guy's nice, you know, like, so, Shaq one time was coming to a hotel. He was with a friend and he was like, hey man, can you not shoot me today? And I was like, yeah, no worries. Cause this guy's always been good to me in the past. And again, every single time he came to New York, I always made sure I run into him. I mean, who wouldn't want to be? It's Shaq. He was the best. And Shaq, I said, yeah, no worries. Put my camera down. I start walking away and he was like, yo, what's your number? I give him my number. And he texts me and then he started texting me memes. So then I would send him memes and we'd have this like phone text conversation back and forth for a long time. And then one day he hits me up in the early morning, goes, where are you? And I said, I'm here. He goes, well, I'm at this building. Come to this building right now. I meet him at the building. And I don't know, he kidnapped me for the day. And it was up to him.
That was literally the starting of your friendship?
We already knew each other. We were texting, but I think that day was the first day we did a video that went like crazy. And I think that day was, I think it was that day where he kidnapped me.
That's sick.
And then we did like crazy
That's one
things
of
where
I loved that moment, seeing you in the car, and he just took you with him everywhere he went that day. And I thought, what a dope move on his part.
well, here's the craziest thing about that day. So Shaq's doing media that day, and it has me tag along with him. And every single place we go to are places I'm usually not allowed to be in. Like we went to ABC. And it's funny, the ABC security guy hated me. This guy was the biggest dick, hated me. And all of a sudden, when we pull up to ABC, I jump out of the car, and the guy's like, kind of like, dude, you can't come in. And Shaq's like, he's with me. And all of a sudden, like, we go into the building, and the guy's like fucking being a dick to me. And we come out, and Shaq's like saying hi to the like paparazzi and a few fans as we're going back into the car. And the guy said to me, goes, hey, I'll see you on the streets tomorrow, back on the streets tomorrow. And Shaq said to the guy and said, hey, hold the door open for him. And it was sort of like that's your role. Like you're holding the door for this guy. And the guy had to keep his mouth shut and do that. And I remember, I haven't talked to that guy ever since that day. I remember my whole relationship changed. And then we did NBC later that day. And we were doing the Meredith Vieira show. And Shaq, we go into the green room. The security guard of NBC, it's like the main security guard goes, hey, Shaq, great day. Thanks for coming. Hey, listen, this guy can't be in the building. Now, I don't have my camera out. I'm just the guy. He knew what I did, and I was never had problems at NBC because I never shot inside NBC. I would shoot outside, and of course, if there's a celebrity there, I'd shoot him outside, but I would never run inside. I was just doing my job on the outside. Anyway, security guy goes to Shaq, hey, Shaq, big fan. Hey, he can't be in the building. I go, Shaq, don't worry, I'm going to bounce. He goes, no, you're with me. He goes, hey, he's with me. He goes, Shaq, you understand? He's not allowed to be in the building. Shaq goes from, he goes, I go. Security guy, okay. Comes back in with a lawyer. And the lawyer is like, hey, Shaq, how you doing, man? They say, hey, I see this ring, championship ring from Miami. Yeah, I was the lawyer of the team when you were here, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm the one who got you that ring because Shaq played on Miami and got him the championship ring. He goes, hey, listen, this guy, he's not allowed to be in the building. It's a company policy, which, dude, they just made this shit up. They just didn't want me in the building because they're afraid of what I do or for me working for TMZ. They didn't want me there. Shaq goes, listen, he goes, I go. Guy goes, really? Goes, he goes, I go. Now, here's this whole show. Audience is there waiting for Shaq to be a guest on this show. Are they going to let Shaq to leave the show because I'm not allowed to be? So all of a sudden, the lawyer walks out. Security guard comes out with their tail between their legs. They never came back in. Shaq did the show, and I bounced. Ever since, the NBC security has been nice to me. They're like, listen, like, they never brought up that day, but they're like, oh, there's a guy. Like, they've always been cool to me since.
That's pretty sick, dude.
Pretty wild, right?
Yeah, and I know that you've had a lot, like, throughout the years of doing a podcast with you, you've talked about a lot of celeb run-ins, all your videos you've had. Is there any interview that, like, or moment on the street that you wish you could go back and redo with a celeb? Is there one that, like, haunts you that you're like, damn, I wish I would have asked a different question, or I wish I wouldn't have asked that question, or anything that you could just redo?
I think that's with all the interviews you sort of do. Like, there's always, especially for the type of interviews that I do that are so quick and fast and you never know what's going to happen. And you sort of have one question teed up and you're hoping that it kind of goes to that, the answer kind of brings up the next question that you have, but you don't get the answer you want. So I can't think of one question in particular, but I think of every single interview you do, like in your head, like, oh, this is a great question. But just because it's a great question doesn't mean it brings up the best answer. Sort of for this question, like you might want a good answer.
So let me rephrase. What was your most cringeworthy run-in with a celeb, or question you ever asked a celeb? You got to have one.
I know I have one. I think I've said it before. It was Khloé Kardashian when she was dating Lamar Odom, and I asked her what was her, because at the time she was doing a radio show and sort of like explicit talk and sort of like sex talk type thing. And I said, hey, who do you think had the best celebrity sex tape? Forgetting that her sister came out one of the biggest. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember I felt so bad. I ran up and like, I apologized. Or I was like, hey, I'm going to raise that video. I'm so sorry that like, I just didn't even, it just wasn't a good question. I wasn't trying to set you up. And she was so cool about it. She's like, hey, I get it. No worries. All good. And she shook my hand. I remember I tried to shake Lamar Odom's hand. He refused to shake my hand. And it was an awkward situation. And Chloe's like, Lamar, shake his hand. He's apologized. How many times does a paparazzi come and apologize? I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was not trying to set you up or make you look bad. But yeah, I remember, there's some other things that just never, I wish I could redo this video because I would not delete it. but I remember having Sarah Silverman, and I said, "Hey, Sarah, our penis is ugly." And she goes, "What?" I go, "Our penis is ugly." And she goes, "No, not at all." I go, "Really?" She goes, "Let me see yours." And I didn't pull my pants down, but I pulled my pants out. And she looked down my pants and put her, like, she didn't put her hand, but she looked down my pants. She said, "No, you have a pretty penis." I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And that was it. That was the video. And I remember after I got the video, I called my job at the time when I was working, and I said, "Hey, just so you know, I did this video. It's really funny." And and that's the type of questions I thought were good. Like, rather asking something stupid, like, "Hey, what do you think about Diddy?" Like, "Hey, her penis is ugly," and have like that to me was the fun and like the good part of the show. They told me like someone's like, "Yeah, you should delete that video. Like, don't even like." Don't. And I was like, "Man, it was such a good video." And she played ball so well, and it wasn't like gross, but to me, that was one of my favorites.
Like I always think, I remember one of the questions that got brought up at TMZ back in the day was, there was always this, like, if you could have this dream dinner and you could have any 5 celebs sitting at the table, like, you actually know celebs, you could have the 5 celebs at your table, but who would you choose to sit and have dinner with? And I don't know if this is, you go to, what is that fancy ass restaurant in New York that we always talk about?
Like Nobu or Carbone or John George
No,
or
there was another one. It said like something O. I don't know.
I don't know. There's so many.
Whatever. You go to Carbone. You go to Carbone. Who would be your celebrity dream table guess?
I would say Oprah. I have a few, and it's going to be a very weird thing. I would say when you get Shaq has some really great stories that he just doesn't tell anybody, but he knows the dirt.
Yeah.
I think Shaq. I don't want to say Shaq because I've been around there. I know his stories. Oprah is really interesting. Wait, I don't know if I want Oprah because I want someone who's going to gossip. I love gossiping.
Mm-hmm.
I would like Howard Stern. Because I think he's good at dinner conversation. If you're having with them, I think he'll open up and gossip. I think he likes gossip. I would have
getting him back out of his house would be the first step, though. That'd be the hardest part.
Yeah, but I think he gossips well. I think you could bullshit with him and he'll get into it. Except it's politics, then it gets weird. But like when it comes to just like straight up pop, he knows. I think Oprah, it'd be really interesting to hear her stories.
Having both of them at the table would be very interesting.
And I think they would actually get along well. I think I would have honestly, I like Jimmy. I think Jimmy Kimmel would actually be kind of fun. I think Jimmy Kimmel would be really nice. Because I'm thinking like one of the late night show hosts, and I don't know if between all of them, I think Jimmy Kimmel would be like the most fun. Seacrest, Matt Lauer, yeah, I think Seacrest or Matt Lauer, maybe Matt Lauer or Seacrest. Again, Matt Lauer was awesome, just a cool dude. I would like not. I want like a good female, like Pam Anderson. To me, sounds like she'd be fun.
Okay,
I put Pam Anderson up there.
Okay, that's your 5. You don't get any more, bro. You're done. You've been cut. Your table's full.
And then, yeah. Yeah, Gracie Abrams. I was gonna say Gracie Abrams. I want a younger celebrity female star, and I've had a conversation with her, and she's very cool. So I was like, you know what, I would like her to be there.
Yeah, no, I'm vetoing Gracie Abrams from being at your celebrity.
I just want to seem too old.
Be old, bro. Just lean into the old.
Yeah.
Just lean into the old. So when I think of celebrity and I think of paparazzi, and the number one question that I get on the street from people is normally like, "Oh, how much is the most you've ever paid for a paparazzi photo?" Or because everyone in their mind always thinks, Angelina and Brad's twins, $1 million for stuff. Like everyone has this inflated monetary value on paparazzi content. What was the most that you have ever been paid for celebrity content? You don't have to tell us the video or the content, but what was like your biggest payday on content?
It's not that much. I probably could have made more money back in the day when I first started if I really wanted to be a dick and like gave some content to an agency while working at a company. I didn't do that stuff at all. I actually played by the books and it was very good. I don't know, offhand, maybe like between like 15 and 30.
Okay.
Dollars.
That's good.
Yeah, I'd say like 15 to 30 around that.
Okay, that's decent. I mean, that's a great paycheck for a moment in time.
Yeah,
How long was your video?
about a minute or
Dude,
so. I
that's
mean, one of them.
30 grand for a minute. That's
One of them was
sick.
just yeah, well, yeah. It's a little around there. I gotta think. I'd have to do a little bit more research, but it was about a minute. I would say it was about 15, and yeah, 15 to 30 is like the for my content. Is probably the most around that. Yeah,
And I
that
feel like
trust
I
me,
should ask.
that's very. If I got that once a year, I'd be happy. But that was there's not even
That was a
like
once in a lifetime thing.
My second place is, you know, you know, right under that. It's like I know if I get 5, I'm really happy about that. Like that's a great day. I don't get that too often.
And I should ask because there is such a negative connotation with the word paparazzi. Are you ever offended by the word paparazzi? Do you
No,
like
I mean
what is your relationship with the word paparazzi?
I don't care. It's easy to explain to people what I do if I just say that. But when you think of paparazzi and you think of what I do, I think it's very different, and I think I do it in a different way. So it's hard for me to. That's why I call myself a street journalist because it's a little vague and people don't even know what it is. And it's funny when I hear other people calling themselves that. When I'm like, dude, that's just a term I made up. Like that's not like a real job. So I'm not offended. It's easy to explain to people what I do when I call myself a paparazzi. But um, for me personally, I don't feel like a paparazzi because I see the paparazzi and like I just do
You
I
feel
think I
like you're
operate in a different way. I'm
different.
not better by any means, but I operate and I work in a different way.
So what's the one myth about the paparazzi industry that you think is totally false and that is misunderstood in the public?
It's if you did what we do in another industry, you'd call them journalists, you'd call them reporters. But because they cover pop culture, you call them paparazzi. Now, listen, there's not really too many journalists outside politicians' houses following them to go get coffee in the morning, and they don't. No one really cares about their fashion. Um, but I think what it comes down to, and I've seen bad paparazzi, I've seen good paparazzi, I've seen good times with paparazzi, I've seen good relationships with paparazzi and celebrity. So I think there is that, you know, wall where the people don't feel like they could talk to the photographers. But if they did talk to photographers, I think they would meet a common middle. Now, again, we're right now in a very weird time where there's paparazzi 2.0 now. And TikTokers running around with their cell phones just filming celebrities wherever they go, trying to get views, trying to get followers on social media, and it's a way of monetizing it. So like now everyone could be sort of a paparazzi, and you can't really have those conversations with those type of people because those conversations will be put on camera and they're not going to put their phone down. I don't trust those people to kind of so they're not always filming. But the old school, when you see the camera in their hand, photographers, I think you could go over and have a conversation with them and say, hey, listen, I'm just walking here, get your shots now, and then can I go one way and you go the other? And if you have those conversations, I think they'll go better than they think with most celebrities.
Now, speaking of cameras down, is there, when you look back at your years of videotaping celebs, is there a moment where you had your camera down and you missed the crucial moment, or you opted not to film and you've kicked yourself to this day for not filming the moment and not being able to
Yeah, I
like
mean,
show people?
great question. I mean, I had, and again, I'm sure there's numerous times. One thing I could think of was one time Mike Tyson went Mike Tyson and was about to go after these
Okay.
autographers, like I'm like got into the stance, like back the fuck away from me, and I had the camera filming. I was like, whoa, like this is about to go down, and then all of a sudden, um, the publicist saw me and was like, you cannot do anything with that video. And I turned the video off and I erased it. I said, I'm going to erase it, but Mike has to do my voicemail on my phone. She said, okay. And he never did the voicemail on my phone. So yeah.
Lame.
Um,
Lame.
yeah. So,
Someone
um,
asked me the other day that I thought was kind of a fun question. They just said, like, if you could switch places with any celeb for 60 seconds. That's all you get. 60 seconds as them. Who would that celeb
Just
be?
60 seconds. I mean, I go
know.
Bezos and then just buy as much as possible. Like, hey, buy a house there, you know, like on Bezos 60. Okay, I'd go on like Street Easy, buy a few apartments.
You got 60 seconds, dude.
Just go nuts.
You're like,
I'm using your credit card.
Time? Yeah, is that even enough time to transfer funds? I don't think so.
I'll tell you what. Last week, not last week. The other day, I was at whatever it was. I was at the Happy Gilmore premiere. And I saw Adam Sandler and how difficult it is being Adam Sandler because he's trying to be a dad. He's trying to be like a business guy, an actor, a friend, a family member for his people. But so many people coming up to him and asking for photos, but he doesn't want to be a dick. So he can't get comfortable because there's just so much like pressure on him to be Sandler and be funny. And he can't give that. So I have to say it is tough being those people, but it's also how you handle it too. Like Shaq, who's one of the, most recognizable people in the world. Like he just walks around. Like he just like, he doesn't, if he says there's people outside and like, hey, you need security. He's like, no, I just walk. Like I am the security. Like he doesn't, like
he's not worried about
like
people
he
jumping
just,
him.
He doesn't phase him. Like he just does himself. And it's a unique way. And I was telling a friend of mine, like, you just got to see how Shaq operates. It's like he's just a machine. Like he just doesn't even think about that stuff. Like he just goes and almost like he doesn't realize he's famous, but he does. It's something to see,
Sorry, moving on. I just had a couple more questions for you. You've always talked about all the big Hollywood events that you've been able to sneak in over the years. But what you don't talk about is the ones that you got caught. Are there any that you got caught sneaking in and you literally got kicked out?
You really thought of these questions. That's a great question, Dax. I ever got kicked out.
Like they caught you. You were trying to say, because you've always said, like, if you act confident, you walk in, people tend to not say something. But was there a moment where they said, fuck no, sorry, dude, you're not coming in, and they escorted you out the back door?
I mean, I got thrown out of clubs before back in the day, and that was just more fun. But like events, I can't think of something offhand. I'm sure there has, Dax. And actually, that's so good for me to think about for my book of like what events I tried sneaking in and got caught. I mean, there's been events where like I basically threw myself off the carpet because they promised me like a good position. I'm like, you're going to put me here? Like, this is a waste of time and research and energy. But I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I had to think about that. That's a good question, though.
It is a good question. I came up with it myself.
Yeah. To your own horn.
No, I only have kind of one other thing that I wanted to ask you about, and we've talked about Shaq and your friendship. You also have been pretty tight with David Spade over the years. How did you become friends with David Spade?
I say that like he's a friend. He was in town the other day and reach out. It's funny. I first of all, I'm a huge fan of him, and I mean, listen, even Shaq, I don't want to keep bringing up Shaq, but like Spade is a guy who I like. I'm a friend of, like, we're friends. I actually really like hanging out with him. We just vibe really well together. Like we talk about the same stuff. We watch the same shows. But Spade, I remember going up to him and asking for a photo with one day. And he was super nice to me, but I think he knew TMZ a little bit. And one day I ran into my friend Bobby. And I ran into him in the city. My friend Bobby was outside this building. And I was like, Bobby, I haven't seen him forever. And he lives in LA right now. But he's a comic who we met when we were in New York. And we were close when he was a comic in New York. We kept in touch, but I didn't really, we just never saw each other. But I run into him on the street in New York. I'm like, Bobby, what's up? He's like, dude, what's going on? We start talking. And I start telling him some stories as we catch up. And we're right across from the London Hotel. He goes, actually, you should tell these stories to Spade. I'm waiting for him right now. He's in a meeting with like his agency right now. But when he comes down, you should tell him these stories. I'm like, yeah, sure. And Spade came down and we wound up talking and started telling him some stories, and he loved the stories. And I think Bobby kind of said like he's a good dude. And later that day, Bobby hits me up and goes, hey, Spade wants your number. And I was like, yeah, give him my number. And then we just kind of kept in touch, text message and calls. And, I think we try. I always try to make it a point to go see him when I'm out west, and I'm just, I'm a fan, and also become like just friends. We vibe well together. We speak the same sort of pop culture language. Like, he's a fan of Hollywood too. He knows everything's going on. He reads the Us Weeklies just like we do. So it's kind of fun to have a friend like that kind of BS with, because I have not too many friends that I'm like the only guy that reads, Page 6 every day as far as in my circle. So
I love it. Well, listen, we're out of time, but that was fun. Oh. So thank you for being my guest today. I just thought that was something different that we've never done in the 5-6 years, however long we've been doing this podcast, that I don't feel like I've ever interviewed you.
Okay. So you did some good questions. Now I feel like I got to think of that for you, but I don't think I'll do as a guy who interviews people all day. I don't think I'll think as good questions as you did. So that was good. Well, thank you guys for.
I feel like your life is interesting. So
it's definitely weird. It's definitely weird. All right. Well, thank you, Dax. Thank you for interviewing me. That was interesting. I was not expecting that. Check out our private Facebook group, Off the Record. Check out our YouTube page. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Give us a review. We please. We just appreciate it. Really, bottom line, it helps us out a lot. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax out at Dax Holt. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.